Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, and today we're gonna talk about this channel and essentially the first concept that I would like to share with you. And this concept is very simple. Laziness is not real. It's a fabricated concept that clogs our minds, dulls our brains, and makes us miserable. So let me reiterate on that really quickly. So, first of all, what this challenge is gonna be about? It's going to be about dedicated to self-improvement. It's not going to be a blue pill. It's not going to be a red pill philosophy. For those who don't know that, it's about the purpose kind of a man. This channel is going to be dedicated about improving ourselves, getting better at what we do, getting stronger, talking about different politics, frames of minds, how some behaviors are harmful for us and some not. This is going to be collective channel of my thoughts. And I believe I have a lot to share with people and potentially enrich and help their lives. And I think that's what the purpose of a human being should be, enriching lives and help them succeed. So, what do you expect? What kind of videos do you expect from the channel? We're going to talk about the politics, about the data, statistics, about rebuttals to some of the bad videos made on YouTube. We're going to talk about purpose in life. How should we approach ourselves? How more likely should we focus? What is clogging our brain? What makes us feel miserable? And how can we escape that? So with that said, the first concept is laziness. You are such a lazy person. You're lazy. You're lazy, 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 lazy bones, right? Laziness is not real. It's a fabricated concept. Okay? So, and I believe it's a fabricated concept that was created with people who are very close-minded about themselves to make themselves feel better compared to the rest. And I'm going to explain in just a moment. Let's say we take two people, for example. Both work 40 hours a week. One makes $20,000 a year, the other one makes $250,000 a year. Let's make it a little bit easier. One person works 40 hours a week, makes $20,000 a month, $20,000 a year. The other person works 30 hours a week and makes $500,000 a year. All of a sudden, you look at this and what would the person who makes less say? I work really, really hard. I work harder than this guy. It is not fair that he makes more money than I do. It is not fair that he has what he has going for him. It is not fair. We're taking education away from here. We're talking about taking social economic values and all the advantages from here as well. But we're talking about just in general concept. Two people, one working less, makes more. The other one works more, earns less. What would that person say towards the other one? Lazy. That person is lazy. I'm more hardworking. I do more. I work harder. I do more with my time. Right? Well, you can't. Why? Obviously, we can argue one works more during that time short period of frame. No. The biggest thing is, the way I want to look at it is one person is more productive than the other. Productivity should be what we be based on, our humanity. And I believe that if we base everything from the productivity standpoint, we as a humans will progress a lot more. Good example. Somebody worked in a retail before. Somebody worked in low-end retail. Somebody worked for just a pure hourly, no commission, nothing, retail job. Actually, I didn't. But the biggest thing is, have you noticed that in retail there are two types of people? Have you noticed like when you start working and you're looking around and you know that you're packing twice as fast, doing whatever job twice as much than the next person next to you? And all of a sudden you look at them and you look how slow they go and you're like thinking like, oh man, this guy is freaking slow as hell. And obviously because we were raised not to judge people, so we're not going to say he is slow as, we might think he's going through something, whatever, right? But the bottom line is, what if we base something, even as little as a retail position, on something that is productivity? What if the person who is more productive will earn more and get paid per task completed. And the person who works slower earn less. Instead of jumbling everybody according to what they're worth, which is $10 to $12, you're limiting the human potential and the rate of speed that they're working. Because in that scenario, if the both people in retail make $12 an hour and the hardworking one, the more productive one, looks at the slower one and say, well, I do twice as much of what he does, but we get paid equally. I'm out of here. He's not going to say I'm out of here because he needs money, but he's saying, why do I need to work faster than this guy? Why do I need to work more productive? Why I need to be more productive when we get paid the same rate? And all of a sudden you're looking at this, and if there was a concept where you get paid by projects that you accomplish, and the person can make not $12 an hour, but up to $25 an hour by working 2-3 times faster, wouldn't that be such a great idea? Wouldn't that all the retail associates try to be more productive for their time? Wouldn't the store and everything else accomplish more because of that? You bet your butt they would. So with that said, would you call a slower person lazy? They work both equal amount of time. They come in at the same time. They work equal amount of hours. No. You'll call that person a less productive. The same thing happened to me when I was growing up. I jumped from a 3rd grade to the 6th grade because I was excelling at a lot of subjects. So when I jumped from a 3rd grade to a 6th grade, I excelled in mathematics and science, and sometimes I would slack off on literature or grammar. But I would be very effective with my homework and I would do them fast. However, when I do that homework really, really fast, I'll come out and my parents and my grandmother would say, oh, you're already done? No, you're not. Go back at it, go back there again and spend more time. And you're like, oh man, okay. And then I'll go and I'll procrastinate. So when I was just from even early age, when I was little, I was looking is, okay, so my homework cannot be only 2 hours. It has to be 4 hours. So I would lock myself in the room. Not lock, but I would just close the door. And I would be like, pretend that I'm studying. And I would occasionally flip the pages. And I would daydream about some stupid stuff. Or I would draw something and I would just hide it. If they would come in and check up on me. Because the way I figured is, what's the point of making the homework faster and going on and having fun? Why do I need to do that? Because I have to, in their minds, work X amount of hours to produce X amount of results. So I was lazy. And I'm by nature a very, very lazy person. But the way I look at it back now is I'm not productive person. I'm not lazy. I'm just was less productive. So when I finally had enough guts to quit my job for the personal project that I'm pursuing, which involves one of these YouTube channels, the first thing I did is, okay, I need to create a schedule. I need to create a schedule to follow up because I'm going to start procrastinating. I'm going to potentially start playing video games, go back to the routine, and I will feel miserable because procrastination actually creates a misery. And I will explain that concept tomorrow. So with that said, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, but I might have to make a few appointments, a few adjustments. And I easily start getting frustrated because I set up the schedule for me to work for 10 hours. But then I'm like, well, this task might not take me as much time, but the other one might take me more. And all of a sudden I'm looking, it's like, well, what the hell is going on? And this is where I had a small flashback. When I was working and I worked in corporate sales, I worked my tail off when I worked. I always grabbed as many customers as possible. I was very effective with my time. I was very productive. I would grab twice as many customers as the next average sales associate or salesperson, and I would get paid infinitely a lot more. Sometimes like twice as much the average sales rep that was making there. With that said, one time the sales rep comes up to me and says, dude, how do you make so much money? Like, how do you get all the sales? I'm like, dude, I work my tail off. He looks at me and is like, I work it too. I'm like, well, you're slow with your customers sometimes. It takes you longer with the customers. And at the same time, you sometimes go and socialize with your coworkers. Like, we might work equal amount of hours, but I accomplish more during those hours. And he looks at me and is like, well, BS, I also do other responsibilities that don't mean anything about the sales. And he's like, and I'm keeping the positive environment. I'm like, me too. People in general like me. So that's where the kind of a seed about productivity versus not comes in place. Because that person, and then sometimes I would go and I would smoke for 15 minutes and clear my head. And I sometimes will take like extra break. And my managers knew I worked my ass off, so they were okay with that. But I would take a little bit more breaks than he did. Yet all of a sudden he worked probably more than me in terms of like time, but yet I was a lot more productive than him. So really cannot call one person lazy and the other person not lazy, hardworking. I think the concept is one person is more productive, the other person is not. I don't think you can call a person a lazy. You cannot call a person lazy about their time. You cannot call a person lazy about what they do. I think you can call a person lazy or not about the pure raw productivity. I think productivity is the key in our lives and how productive we are with our time. So the person who makes, technically speaking, less money but works more and doesn't have anything else going for him, no other family, personal relationships, not a really good place to be at, they feel miserable because they're not productive. In my opinion, the most amount of self-actualization the person can have and is whether they are the most productive for the time they're given. So what I did is I instantly erased my schedule when it comes to the schedule that I try to create. And I'm going to show it right over here. Kind of like I have a little billboard in the other room where I actually share my thoughts, concepts, and everything else. And I wonder if this camera is going to pick it up to some. Yes, it does. So multiple projects, 7:30 to 8:30. Wake up, do fitness, breakfast. Then work on one channel, work on the other channel, do, and so on and so forth. Well, that made me feel miserable because you almost technically cannot attend the perfect schedule. And in my schedule, I have to work on my vlog for 2 hours. But what if I complete my vlog in not 2 hours, but hour and 15 minutes? Maybe I didn't put enough effort into it. Or maybe I didn't do much of a research. Or what exactly happening? Or maybe I need to do another take, just in case. Because obviously I've been lazy. If I finish it with an hour and a half, 45 minutes, I cannot take a break. I'm being lazy. No. I think this is the thing that I created for myself. And again, I need you ideas and everything else. But this is what I did. It kind of looks like a to-do list. A huge to-do list. Do calls, do YouTube videos, do fitnesses, set up the appointments and everything else like that. And this is only in one day. So this, me going on my own, quitting the job, trying to get the few projects started, I understood that the best thing to do is to divide those projects, set up the time frames for those projects. I understand how much the time they're gonna take, approximately. But most importantly, get things done with those projects based on how many, not based on how many hours I do, but based on how many things I accomplish throughout the day. And if I'm very, very productive in that day, I can reward myself. And if I'm not as productive as my day, I don't have to kill myself over it, call myself lazy, call myself a procrastinator. All I gotta do is try to next day be a little bit more productive. Or find a way how to be more productive. Maybe I can get a new software to make my vlogs a little bit faster. Maybe I can actually do a little bit more research and change the websites where I'm basing my research off. Or maybe simply I can be talking a little bit less during my appointments with my co-workers, colleagues that are trying to set up the projects with me. So that's the idea. I think laziness is a fabricated bullshit that is in our heads that gives us an excuse saying how we are hardworking because we're spending X amount of time and effort, And these guys are not because they work less, but they make more. I think everything should come down to how productive we are as a human beings. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this vlog. Please, this is going to be an open discussion, and I would like to know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you.